this was one of my main dream. So when I was young, that Africa should be present in all over the places where decision making are done.
Hello and welcome to Living Proof, the joint podcast between plus.maths.org and the Isaac Newton Institute for Mathematical Sciences. I'm Rachel Thomas. The person you just heard was Moustapha Fall talking about giving an invited lecture in 2018 at the International Congress of Mathematicians in Rio de Janeiro. Now, to be invited to speak at an ICM is really a huge honour. But as we find out in this podcast, it's just one highlight in Moustapha's fascinating career, both in terms of his research career in Senegal, but also his part in the international mathematical community. My colleague Maren Freiberger was able to meet Moustapha recently when he visited the Newton Institute following the annual meeting of the Executive Committee of the International Mathematical Union. They're the people who organise the ICMs. Moustapha is a member at large of that executive committee. As well as that, Moustapha is currently the president of the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences in Senegal, which is an amazing institution we'll find out more about in this podcast. And in 2022, he was awarded the prestigious Ramanujan Prize for Young Mathematicians from Developing Countries for his outstanding work in the theory of partial differential equations. When Marianne chatted with him, they talked about this institute, the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, about Moustapha's outreach activities and his advice for budding mathematicians, and about the challenges that face mathematicians in sub-Saharan Africa. But first, she started out by asking about that exciting experience giving an invited lecture at the International Congress of Mathematicians in 2018.
And you've been an invited speaker at, I think, was it the 2018 ICM? And what was that like? Is that really exciting?
Yeah, indeed, it is, because it was exciting, and because I am the first sub-Saharan African who have been invited to the ICM. So it was quite amazing, and this is somehow important that where we are. Where the biggest scientists or mathematicians are gathering, that we see that there are Africans who are also on the stadium. This was, of course, one of my main dream. So when I was young, that Africa should be present in all over the places where decision making are done. About science or whatever. So this is so it was a kind of dream that was somehow achieved in a sense, yeah.
So what are the challenges to mathematics in Senegal or in sub-Saharan Africa more generally?
There are many challenges for mathematicians. So if I would start, for example, from the beginning, which is something that is also happening in most countries in the world, is that the young students, even starting from primary school to secondary school, high school, all of these students now, they are becoming more reluctant, to choose science, and so this makes the percentage of students who are doing mathematics decreasing a lot. And this is one of the first challenges, because at some point, if mathematicians are even at the universities, if they have less students, it is becoming a serious problem to develop even the research, or maybe to develop pipelines, that are going to be in different research area, which are very important for development, like AI, big data, and so on. So this is the first challenge. So the second challenge is I would say certain lack of communications. And what I mean in terms of communication is that many young mathematicians, very, very young, or maybe early career students, PhD students. So they do not know a lot about these questions of predatory prey journals, which is quite dangerous, and somehow IMU is even preparing an article that described all of this, and which might help young mathematicians or even experienced researchers also to be more aware about these problems that is really destroying science.
I'll just jump in here to explain what Moustapha means by predatory journals. He's talking about fraudulent practices in publishing of mathematical research that's recently come to light. And the IMU, the International Mathematical Union, has just published a joint report on this with the International Council of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. We'll put a link to that report in the show notes. Now, back to Moustapha talking about the challenges facing mathematicians in Senegal.
The third thing which I can say is certain lack of funding that is in general common for developing countries, which is somehow to have a certain amount of grant. For researchers in Senegal, for example, they have 2 years research grant, which is probably, I would say, what the country can provide, but still it is really not enough. Because research, even whether it is or in mathematics, the most important things is international collaboration and internal collaborations. And each of these requires a certain amount of funding and flexibility. Another challenge, which is also important, is related to infrastructures. So when I talk about infrastructures, so I'm not only talking about building concrete things, but also this HPC, this high computer, this high performance computers, all of these things. Also, the lack of this is also something that we can that are also challenges.
And talking about the young people and get motivating and supporting people into mathematics, you are also the president of the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences in Senegal. That institute is also known as AIMS.
Yes.
So what is AIMS, and what is your role as a president in AIMS? What does that entail?
Yeah, AIMS is the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, which is a Pan-African Institute of Centers of Excellence. So our major role is to teach mathematical sciences to talented students from all over the continent, bringing one of the best lecturers in the world. We also do research and a lot of, I would say, outreach programs for very young mathematicians, high schools, secondary schools, and so on.
Mm-hmm. And the teaching, is that to what stage of students? Is that school students, university students?
So
what
the
stage?
outreach program, the outreach program is for is mainly for I would say high school students, secondary school students. So these are outreach programs that we do in these schools in order to motivate them about mathematical sciences. But AIMS itself is training master's programs and PhD programs.
Mm-hmm. And you say that it's about bringing really good lecturers in from around the
Yes.
world. So are there opportunities then for people, say, from the UK or from other countries to take part?
Of course, I would say, one can say that, in fact, AIMS was somehow born in UK. The first center, we have 6 centers in the continent. The first center was in South Africa, founded by Professor Neil Turok. And he was, at that time, he was a professor in Cambridge. And he had a lot of support from researchers in Cambridge. For example, last time when I was visiting the INI, so during my presentations about AMS and research and so on, so some participants came because probably they wanted to know what AMS became, because they were there when during probably the first days when Neil Turok was talking about AMS. And some of them, they said, oh, I convinced Neil Turok to create AMS, to do something in Africa and so on. So it was quite amazing that I see that these people, they were really, really interested to know what it became. So AMS have been really, and until now, of course, there are many research collaborations that are going on, in particular with Edinburgh, in particular also with Imperial College, as you can see also with Cambridge. So we have really a huge opportunity that we have with UK. So the number of lecturers from UK who came to teach at AMS, the number is too big in the last 20 years, so that I will not be able even to list them, because some started even before I came to AMS, and I have met many of them. I may list names, but it might not be very convenient. But there are too many, in fact, lecturers who are from the UK who have been in AMS Senegal, in AMS Cameroon, in AMS Rwanda, and in AMS South Africa. So they were. It is huge in the last 20 years. Currently, for example, this year we had the workshop that was co-organized with researchers from Imperial College. So it is, the collaboration is good and it's going on well.
Good. Now, coming back to you, in 2022, you were awarded the Ramanujan Prize for Young Mathematicians from Developing Countries for, and I quote, impressive results on existence and non-existence of solutions of linear and non-linear partial differential equation inspired by geometry and mathematical physics. So what did it mean to you to win that prize?
It was good, I would say very good, that Africa had this prize for the second time. The first time it was won nearly 10 years ago by a mathematician from Gabon. Since then, since the prize was set, it was so it was most of the times it didn't come back to Africa. Most of the so the competition is quite huge, because it includes developing countries, and including China, including India, including Brazil. So all these countries, they have very, very strong research programs in mathematics, and so that's why having this prize again in Africa is very important. It was very important, of course, for me, but I don't see it from my side, but I see it in a way that this can be motivating young mathematicians to know that even if there are probably lack of infrastructures or funding or many other things, in sometimes with mathematics you do not need a lot of things in order to achieve big goals. You don't need a lot of compare it to programs like, for example, in astronomy, maybe, or maybe in applied applied sciences. So in theoretical in pure mathematics in general, what you probably need most of the times is to discuss, people with whom to discuss. And now with the online talking, you can talk and collaborate with many people. You need piece of papers, of course, and maybe some books and so on. So probably that's what you would need, and of course time to focus. So these are the things that one needs, and this for me I would say it is important. I was more happy that the prize comes in Africa rather than me winning the prize, to simplify things.
Yeah. Now, the prize also honored, and I quote the citation again, outstanding contributions to the advancement of maths in Africa through research and public engagement. So you already mentioned the public engagement activities of AIMS. And what public engagement have you been doing? Can you give us a sense of the type of things that you personally get involved with?
So I do different tour visit in different high school, secondary school, probably secondary school. I don't know how it is called in UK, but secondary school is just comes after primary school.
Yeah.
So in Senegal. Yeah, so in secondary school and to discuss with the students to tell them more about what they can become, what are their role when they study more mathematics, what can be their job, and also doing mathematics presentation. So most of the time and doing different experiences using different theorems, telling them also about little bit about history of mathematics, so that they know that so all these theorems with Greece, with names coming from Greece and all of these, some of them also were coming from Africa and so on. And also we have, so I developed also a program in which we are experiencing it with different schools, different secondary schools, where we are providing training also to some teachers and at the same time to students, so capacity building to improve their skills in mathematics. And so we are now in some years, and very soon we will have a lot of data that will allow us to see where the improving. That's because that was my belief, and my belief was that is until now, when these students, you improve their skills in mathematics, then you improve implicitly their level in all different things that they study.
So when one of these young people tell you that they want to be a mathematician and ask you for advice, what advice do you give them?
Yeah, so let me say it in this way, because most of the times when I come to the students, I ask them, okay, what do you want to be? What do you want to become? What do you want to do as a job? And some students they tell you, I want to become an engineer. Some they tell you, I want to become a, a doctor. Some they tell you, I want to be in the army. On all of these. And from there, you can easily show them right now that now, if they want to become all of these, they want to say they have to have good skills in mathematics. Now, army is not like you take your gun, you go around, but at least you can be driving drones and so on. And in all of these, between the stage where you are and what you want to reach, you need to have skills in mathematics. Now, one of the simplest thing now that I mainly tell them is, okay, so you guys, you use different softwares in your phones, like WhatsApp or maybe ChatGPT or all of these. And so my question is, do you want to be a user always using these softwares, typing, or you want to be a developer to develop things in a way that is good for our society, that is good in our environment in Africa. And most of the students, they really say, no, I want to become a developer. I want to create something like this. And from there, it is clear that if they want to become any of these, they have to be very good in mathematics. All this AI, this deep learning is about mathematics. So they have to know math.
Yeah. So coming back to the Isaac Newton Institute, you say you have visited in the past. So what's your connection with the Newton Institute been?
Yeah, so my connection with the Newton Institute is I would say, Ulrike Tullman, who is the director, in fact. So connecting with the director is an honor, of course. And I would say we met So we knew each other, so by name, even if we are not working in the same research field, but also we are also in the same executive office of the IMU. And she is also the vice president of the IMU. And during the time also that the day that my prize of the Ramanujan Prize was given to me, also she represented the IMU there. Yeah, and we have also so different collaborations because she's very keen to support mathematics in Africa and also AIMS. So this is so I think this is a good collaborations, and we have discussed during my visit there, we have discussed different collaboration opportunities that AIMS and I can do together.
Can you say what these opportunities are, or are they still being developed?
Yes, they are still in development. We have discussed some. Yeah. So, for example, just to give an example, so for example, we are planning at least to have research visiting programs together. So where and also researchers in INI also coming to AIMS lecturing, and researchers also from AIMS institutes can also visit there. This will be probably enlarged to researchers who from all over Africa who may stay research visits for some weeks or months in INI, and also a certain time also in one AIMS centers. So these are the things that we are discussing about.
And so given this activity and this exchange that is going to happen between, or is happening between AIMS and INI, generally, how do you see the Newton Institute fit into the whole international picture of mathematics? What role do you think it plays from your experience of it?
So in my opinion, it can be a center which can develop huge meetings, in collaboration with different places, with different countries, with different universities. So in developing countries, in Europe or US and so on. So I mean, can be an international meeting point, if I can say it in a way, an international meeting point where people they will be having the opportunities to visit and to organize certain events. These are the things that makes.
So it's bringing people together is the
Exactly. So bringing people together. Yeah, this is, mathematicians most of the time that's what they need to be together. Researcher, the biggest team works, this short-term and long-term visitings, and organizing workshops and conferences, summer schools, and so on. Yeah.
That was Moustapha Fall talking to my colleague Marianne Freiberger at the Isaac Newton Institute for Mathematical Sciences here in Cambridge. We hope to meet him again soon, perhaps again at the Newton Institute, or perhaps at a future International Congress of Mathematicians. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please do consider recommending it to a friend, or you can rate and review it wherever you're listening, as that really helps other people find us. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.